This is John Lithgow after hosting Saturday Night Live last year. And this is me as I am today. Witness the metamorphosis when I host again with musical guest Anita Baker.
An American tradition continues. When the Braves face the Mets or the Giants meet the Dodgers, the memories are waiting. Saturday.
Coming up on Channel 12 News tonight, another RUCO lawyer is given his walking papers. Why it could devastate the biggest case the consumer advocate has ever taken against APS.
Also tonight, the superpowers move closer to an agreement that could turn Europe into a missile-free zone.
And Bill Denny will have the latest investigative insight into a grand jury probe involving the Phoenix Suns.
Those stories next on Channel 12 News tonight.
For years, there hasn't been much of a choice in fast food chicken.
Y'all want greasy or extra greasy?
But now, there's a new chicken in town, El Pollo Asado. Fresh chickens marinated in flavorful juices before they're charbroiled over an open flame. So different, so tender, so juicy, you'll never eat fried chicken again.
El Pollo Asado.
Discover why El Pollo Asado is changing America's taste in chicken.
It's the KG guy who's caught her eye in a great-looking suit from KG Men's Store. The best prices of the season mean savings up to $125 on KG's entire stock of suits. Save on famous maker suits as low as $99.99. KG's entire stock of spring and summer sport coats is on sale, too, priced from just $39.99. Save up to $45. Shop the KG Men's Store pre-Easter suit and sport coat sale now.
Crystal delivers the drinking water. Its taste delivers the smiles. Yes, me and Crystal Water making friends.
She's called Sarah by her surrogate mother. Her adoptive parents say she's Melissa Elizabeth. But by any name, the child known as Baby M is still without a permanent home.
Good evening. This is Channel 12 News Tonight. With Kent Dana, Patti Kirkpatrick, Bill Austin's weather, and Bill Denny with sports.
Good evening. Tonight, another twist in the dramatic story of a surrogate mother and Baby M. Mary Beth Whitehead, who bore the child under a $10,000 contract, has again won the right to visit the infant. The last time Whitehead saw her daughter was the day a New Jersey judge stripped her of all parental rights and awarded permanent custody to William and Elizabeth Stern. But Whitehead's lawyers asked the state Supreme Court to allow her to resume visitation during her appeal of the case. And today's ruling means she will be able to see the child once a week for 2 hours, or 2 hours less than she had been allowed before the lower court ruling. An attorney for the Sterns, who adopted the baby, maintained a resumption of visits would be detrimental to the peace and security of the child.
John Hinckley, the man who once tried to kill President Reagan, wants an unescorted Easter visit to his family in Colorado. He'll be in a court Monday where a formal request will be made. But today, federal prosecutors say Hinckley once wrote a letter discussing plans to escape from the Washington Mental Hospital where he's been held since the 1982 shooting. And that letter will be introduced as evidence to oppose Hinckley's request. President Reagan says there's no excuse for Soviet spying at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow, but given the Soviet ideology, he said it should come as no surprise. Mr. Reagan also told the Los Angeles World Affairs Council that there's no excuse for the way security was handled at the embassy. But the president did say he was pleased to hear Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev say that the Kremlin is ready to discuss reductions in both short-range and medium-range nuclear missiles in Europe, and sounded optimistic about chances for an agreement at next week's talks.
But in recent weeks, the Soviets have shown new seriousness. A breakthrough in the talks on intermediate-range missiles is now a distinct possibility.
Meantime, reporters in Washington were given a rare tour of the partially built $65 million Soviet embassy complex. After a news conference, Soviet diplomats displayed bugging devices they said were planted by American agents. The diplomats said the bugs were found at diplomatic installations in Washington, New York, and San Francisco. They even displayed a tiny microphone they said was hidden in a Soviet reporter's car dashboard.
The chairman of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People blasted Governor Evan Meekum tonight and said he is an oddball. William Gibson was the keynote speaker for Maricopa County's Freedom Fund dinner. Gibson said he will not recommend Arizona as a convention site as long as Meekum is in office.
If I had a recommendation to make, I would say at this time, let's try another place. And maybe when the state of Arizona is rid of this gentleman, or when his ideals may change, which I think is probably possible, then we can consider coming to Arizona once again. A great state, but a bad governor.
Gibson and the Freedom Fund dinner honored Phoenix Minister Warren Stewart with an award tonight.
Another shakeup at the Residential Utility Consumer Office, also known as RUCO, this time involving the last surviving lawyer of RUCO's past administration. Minerva Perez is here with more on that story. Minerva?
Well, Patty, RUCO attorney Bud Duncan today was dismissed by Director Ted Humes, a recently seated Meekum appointee. Duncan says his problems with Humes stem from changes Humes brought to the consumer agency.
The whole character of RUCO has changed. The mission of RUCO, I think, has changed since Mr. Humes came on board. It is no longer I think it's no longer can be classified as an aggressive agency on behalf of consumers.
Duncan and Humes had not seen eye to eye since Humes took over RUCO in January. Since then, Duncan became vocal against Humes' policies and accuses him of not cooperating with staff members. What seemed to further deteriorate the relationship was a March 19th APS hearing in which Humes made questionable opening remarks instead of following procedure and letting Duncan do the talking. RUCO Advisory Board Chairman Janny Cox says Humes has replaced Duncan with attorney Bob Myers and fears that Duncan's dismissal may jeopardize the multi-million-dollar APS rate case now pending.
Because this is the largest case that RUCO has represented for the residential consumer in our 3-year history, it's very important that we have people on that case who are very well briefed and can represent the people we're there to represent.
Duncan says he's not decided whether he'll appeal the dismissal, and we tried to reach Ted Humes to find out his reasons for firing Duncan, but he never returned our calls, Patty.
Does Duncan say whether he's concerned for the APS case now that he's out?
He says he's very concerned. He claims he was an aggressive consumer advocate lawyer. He says now RUCO doesn't have one anymore.
Okay, thank you, Minerva.
Coming up on Channel 12 News tonight, we'll take you on the trail with a unique East Valley program for the handicapped, one that provides both physical and mental therapy while riding tall.
And a bit later, we'll bring you the play-by-play action of one winner's fast hands and keen eye for shopping.
Hi, folks. I'm Jim Bay Bernhardt for Earnhardt's Chrysler Plymouth. Folks, we have over 100 quality used vehicles to choose from, just like this 87 Fifth Avenue. Or we've got 5 hard-to-find LeBaron convertibles. And get this, both the New Yorker and LeBaron convertible on 8.9% financing. And if you're looking for inexpensive transportation, here's a Mazda GLC for only $17.50. And we've got a wide selection of sport trucks starting from only $39.95. That's Earnhardt's Chrysler Plymouth, just east of the mill on Baseline, and that ain't no bull.
We at 7-Eleven believe that hot dog lovers are endowed with certain inalienable rights, that among them are the right to a quality hot dog, the liberty to use condiments of their choosing, from chili to cheese to jalapeno peppers, in whatever combinations they please, no matter how unusual.
How many vacations will you get this year? Come to the Californias. Come to the Californias. The possibilities are endless. Call now for PSA special Kids Fly free coupons to the California.